The Critical Hit podcast contains foul language, sexual subjects, and other things that are inappropriate for children. Content warnings can be found in the episode description. Hello world, and welcome to another episode of Critical Hit, Found Out podcast where we talk about everything. I am your host, Red King, and with me always is Crimson Chrono Warden.
As we are servants
of the worst.
The top.
Of the bottom?
No, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. We're talking about 10 out of 10s.
Yeah.
Tonight, you just took the words right from my mouth.
Yes.
We're talking about, we're revisiting our top 10s, and we are finding our 10 out of 10s. Because, right, it means a lot to us, but it may mean very little to the world at large. We're going to make our arguments.
Seems to be the case for a lot of this.
Are you guys ready? Shots fired. We are Critical Hits, and top 10 out of 10s starts now!
That's 1,000, by the way.
What?
10 cubed is 1,000.
Or it's the Adventures of 1010 instead of 1010.
The one
from Naruto.
kind of an underutilized character.
Yeah. Like 100%.
Depends on where you go.
Oh my.
Correct. I don't know why that made C's over my eye. But that's just what I felt like doing.
Didn't they kind of, like, in Boruto, she doesn't even show up.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
That's the one character that doesn't show up.
The offspring does, which is weird.
Yeah, Dexter Morgan, why are you in Boruto?
Wow. What? Damn.
I told you guys before we started this, I have a hot take. On what we're talking about particularly. I have a hot take. And I wanted to throw this out there before we got into our personal 10 out of 10s because I'm going to trust you guys if it goes against what I'm about to say. I don't think there's such thing as a modern 10 out of 10 game. I don't think it's possible, more specifically.
Really?
Yes.
I disagree.
So I have reasoning behind this.
Okay.
So the reason why I say this is exclusively because of additional content. DLC makes it impossible for a 10 out of 10 game to happen. This is why. Because you have to count every content update. You have to count every DLC. I don't like people who review DLC separately. It's an extension of the base game.
What about expansions, though?
I think, expansions.
There are DLCs that are expansions.
I think I'm still willing to argue that it is still the game plus. So if you, as a fine example, if you thought World of Warcraft was a 10 out of 10, you probably didn't think it was a 10 out of 10 after that panda bullshit happened. You know what I mean? And I don't think you cannot count that because you have to go out of your way to not expose yourself to the additional content.
Don't buy it.
I mean, this is true, but it's still an additional. They've added to it. They've added even to the base story oftentimes with these additional contents. So I'm willing to argue you cannot count it as a separate thing. It's not new characters, it's not new world, it's not new any of that. You're still playing the same motherfuckers in new scenario. So I think, I think it's the Elder Scrolls problem, right? You might like Shivering Isles, but I don't even fucking remember what the other one was.
Knights of the Nine.
Yeah, Knights of the Nine.
There was a third one. What was that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Horse armor!
No.
Motherfucker.
Isn't that like kind of arguably the first?
Yeah. It's arguably the first paid DLC.
Yeah, which is
way to start it off like exactly in the way that Like that is just so apropos.
So I'm going to argue your point for a couple of reasons. One, DLC doesn't actually happen that much anymore. Live service games, sure. I don't think any of them could ever be a 10 out of 10.
Nope. Impossible.
But there are plenty of games that come out now that get no DLC. Because DLC has diminishing returns.
Agreed.
Because less than 50% of the people that play a game beat it.
This is true.
Man.
That's
kind of like my life.
Listen, I'm in there.
You know,
I'm well in there.
And you want to know what? Like, I'm currently trying to just beat games, and I picked one that was kind of like an easy entry.
Mm-hmm.
I picked, maybe I shouldn't reveal it. Because I have like an idea for an episode.
Oh, okay, fair.
Say it and cut it if you need to.
No, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm playing Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
It's like kind of a crappy game.
Yeah.
Or no, well, here's the thing. People think it's a crappy game, and I got beef with that. Anywho,
This is what I'm saying. I agree that obviously there are certain games that don't have DLC. But again, then you have to argue, are the ones with no DLC a 10 out of 10? You know what I mean? So I think that we've hit a point, and 10 out of 10s are hard to get just in a general sense, right? And there are like 2 developers I could think of that genuinely didn't add additional content to a game, said it was done when they released it, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, we can talk about Baldur's Gate 3 until we're blue in the face, you know what I mean? And that, I think you can somewhat argue could be a 10 out of 10 game. But it comes down to that point where you kind of, just in the idea that you've added and went to go put so much, you make it harder and harder to refine any particular thing. Mm. Because you just want more. There are games that still have glitches in them that have additional content. Yeah. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be falling through the ground.
In Oblivion?
Yeah. True. This is true. This is kind of shots fired.
that was, yeah. It's just kind of a shots fired move. Damn.
So I think, now granted...
Listen, Lemillion in My Hero is based on the fact that, what the hell's his name? Horikoshi?
Yeah.
Right.
Plays Fallout, and those were glitches he experienced. That guy's whole power set is because of Bethesda game glitches.
Oh, shit!
That's why he looks like the Pit Boy. Or Vault Boy.
Oh my gosh!
That's fucking insane.
So I didn't know this. How did I not know this?
What? Yeah, this is something that... No, wow.
Okay, cool. That's a cool factoid.
Yeah,
now that I'm imagining...
Almost the whole episode. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
So by no means do I think... I'm not saying take this as gospel, because I'm sure, like... Hey, if you got something, throw it in the comments. You know what I mean? If you have something that you're like, oh, fuck you, every DLC was perfect, then go ahead. But, no, the more you add, the worse it gets. GTA 5 can't be a 10 out of 10.
I mean, I don't think GTA 5 was a 10 out of 10 when it released.
I don't think it was either, but there are people who would argue that it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay, just... jump back in time.
Okay.
To, I'm going to say, 2013?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When it came out. I'm almost certain.
Was it 2013 or 2012? Doesn't matter, close enough.
It was like the end of the 360 and PlayStation 3 lifespan.
I don't think so.
It was
They came out on the 360, and remember...
I bought that game when it first came out.
It was damn near, maybe 2 years.
I think it was 2013, guys.
Yeah, that's when the Xbox One and the PS4 dropped.
It was 2013, guys. It goes back home. I'm just got a game.
Damn. But this is just unrelated to whether or not it can be a top 10. What would you have rated it? You just pop that thing fresh into a 360, you boot it up.
Your 360 explodes.
Can't do it. Can't do it. What? Fucking red rings
You
immediately.
play that first bank robbery scene. What's your rating that game, dude?
I've never actually played the main story of GTA 5.
Shocker.
Why? What?
Why does something master shake? For a small
I hate this.
That was an exact pitch. But yeah, I'll potato hunger before I started playing.
How are you of all people playing multiplayer in GTA before you fired up the single player?
Because someone bought the game for me because they wanted someone to play with in GTA Online, and I was like, fine.
That's such a hard way, honestly, to get into that game.
Because that online was miserable in that game.
Wait, is it on Game Pass?
Yeah.
It's been off and on Game Pass, but he bought it for me before I got Game
No,
Pass.
I'm just trying to say.
I own the game. Why would I need to install it on Game Pass?
Yeah, I don't know. My mind went. You fucked me up. I'm just trying to say.
Well, you got Shaketh, Master Shake.
Damn it.
That was wild.
Just play the fucking opening scene.
Master Shake weight.
I will say, because I have played the opening
Was that a fat joke?
No.
We're all that was our spring chicken. Anyways, this is what I'm trying to say. I played that opening scene, that first scene alone. If I'm just judging from that, I'm giving that like.
The very next scene is also amazing.
I don't remember the next scene, I'll be honest.
Where Michael Townley's complaining about his family to his
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. That's
I mean, that...
Listen,
nope. If you play only the story missions in that game, it is fucking peak cinema. And that's me being the devil's advocate 100%, because you want to know what? Fuck Rockstar for that.
Yeah.
Fuck Rockstar for that. There's no way, there's no reason for releasing a game that many times, but that was far and away.
Yeah.
Too Bethesda.
but I think, though, that also, I'm just saying, that kind of sits well again with the point that I'm trying to make.
Bethesda.
Because you have to cut games in half.
Elder Scrolls 5, San Andreas.
Oh,
I play it.
oh, you had
I
to
play it.
was get to the damn Daedra.
But yeah, you gotta
Follow the damn horse, CJ.
but you gotta chop games in half for them to be good these days. You gotta give. It's the same reason why you couldn't fucking rate Mass Effect 3 a 10 out of 10. Because Mass Effect 3 OG had multiplayer that ain't ass.
No, the multiplayer was actually good.
I mean, but
But didn't they also do a whole new ending and all that? Got a little muddy.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be real on this. Mass Effect does not need multiplayer. Should have never had it. I sit firmly on it. It was a detractor.
So
It wasn't good enough in comparison. Now, mind you, I know Mass Effect 3 is divisive just to begin with, but it wasn't good enough to take what was. We could at least say great. You know what I mean, right? Mass Effect 3 is at least great. It might not be perfect, but it's great. To take great and then put that multiplayer on top of it, it made it good, in my opinion. You gotta meet that level. You can't just half-ass anything.
You came out kind of swinging on this, didn't you?
Yeah, I was thinking about it because there's a lot of games that went through in my head when I was trying to pick this. I realized I always went backwards. I've never looked at a modern game and said 10 out of 10. Every time I think 10 out of 10, it's an older game. And that's what made me think about it. Because I'm like, there's always something that I'm just like,
Okay, I mean, shoot.
listen, but this is gonna lead me into my new favorite game of all time. I'm just gonna have to say it.
it's a new number one. Okay.
So
I have receipts.
It took soul searching to get to this.
Okay.
It took a lot of soul searching, and after a long time, I finally realized Final Fantasy X is my only 10 out of 10 game. My only 10 out of 10 game.
This is very interesting.
This is a flaming hot Cheetos take. I know, after all that shit I just said.
You want to know what? We're gonna have to rap about this because that's gonna be my 10 out of 10.
Oh shit! Let's go.
I've been playing it on Steam Deck.
So, oh my gosh, you're getting the best version then. You're because fucking OLED, all fucking uncapped frames per second. Oh my gosh,
it is.
Listen, this game, and I thought about it, and there are very few games in existence that hit me in quite a way that Final Fantasy X did, just in a general sense. I'll start with some personal shit. Because at the time, obviously, I was kind of still sort of in my early fledgling days of being a true blue gamer. And I remember on G4, or no, Tech TV. It was.
Yep,
I remember extended play on Tech TV.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I remember something that got me into not just the geek media, but geek culture, as it were. I didn't really understand that it was a culture until I saw that. And I started watching, and I saw the review of Final Fantasy X that kind of got me into just the Final Fantasy series in general.
Yep.
I didn't fuck with Final Fantasy
Because it piqued that curiosity up until that point. Because being a kid with a really odd attention span to things, like games with incredible box arts.
Yeah.
One of the things that caught me when I was going to rent a video game, and Final Fantasy VII had a. Here we go. I can respond to comments, by the way. we're so small right now. Might not be for long.
Don't sleep.
Comment, subscribe, and comment on what I'm about to say. Final Fantasy VII's box art was mid.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Ooh.
It had two colors.
That's tough.
It had white and alternating forms of gray. Cloud. The angle was stupid. I understand that it was the overlook of it was looking up at the Shinra
Tech or whatever.
Shinra, yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand what they were trying to convey. I don't think I really like that one.
So that's crazy because you literally just quelled my counter argument to that because I was like, "What about the concept?" And you're like, "Fuck that."
So prior to that, we were seeing all of the Final Fantasy box art just being white background with the title. And
no, Final Fantasy VI didn't have that for cover art. Final Fantasy VI is Yoshitaka Amano's Terra on the Magitech armor over, I forget what city it is.
I can visualize it. I know exactly what.
So 6 was technically the first that you really started getting into the.
Yep, 6 and 7, and then 8.
8 went backwards.
Oh. It had the worst box art ever.
It did. Well, hold on though, because 9 kind of followed suit a little bit. Floating heads got weird.
Floating
Final
heads.
Fantasy 9 didn't have floating heads. It's full body.
Well,
so there's a concept. It's a concept. Floating heads where you just have a still of the characters just kind of there.
Yeah, hey.
So, not to ramble on too much, just to keep it kind of pushing. The thing that got me with Final Fantasy X was the box art.
Yeah.
That shit looked amazing.
And the cool thing is that after you play it, it's when you're first kind of isekai, as it were.
Oh no! Fuck! What? No!
It's kind of crazy. I'm like, wow, we were doing this back then.
Oh my gosh, it's Isekai.
It's weirdly enough, it kind of is. And like, I remember showing up on it's Besaid Islands, yes.
I remember playing that demo and playing like freaking that Besaid, that intro where like it was what was it was PlayStation Underground. It had like a demo disc.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like you're in Besaid, and the first thing you do is like you walk like 10 feet, and then Kimari Ranso shows up, and then you have like a duel.
Yeah.
Just a one-on-one, and then the rest of the party shows up and stops the fight. And then all of a sudden you're in like Final Fantasy. And, like, it's the first experience of Final Fantasy.
And I think that kind of goes for a lot of people, is that you kind of have that Final Fantasy, which, you know, as speaking of Final Fantasy at the larger series, kudos to that series for kind of having everyone's kind of entry, so to speak, into like kind of like the JRPG verse, right? There's a lot of people that, you know, enter this kind of new world of, you know, largely story-based 60, 70-plus hour games, and they get into it with a Final Fantasy, and there's a different one for everyone, and I think 10 just happened to be that one. And I don't think there's a better point that kind of summed up the whimsy and the fantasy and like the mixture of like, because, you know, you went kind of largely industrial with 7 and 8. You kind of went back to classic with 9, and then 10 was kind of like
a little mix.
There's a little mixture, and
even like the Machina, the robots looked like whimsical.
Yeah,
they were not just like big beep boop steam bots.
Yeah, and it was like something about that setting, and I think from that point on, it's kind of just like hit me that it's like, that is my favorite type of fantasy setting. It's what I mean, obviously it's coined now online as being science fantasy, but it's like,
it's science high fantasy.
It's science high fantasy. That, I think that's the difference, because you get a lot of people nowadays that will like, it's more or less just modern day with swords and magic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
you hop in the car and drive around the countryside.
Yeah, which
Final Fantasy 15.
Part of me really vibed with that, but at the same time,
part of it was cool. I would do it now. I would do it with you guys. We hopped in the whip. And just
well, when they bring the dire wolves back, and they breed and breed and breed, and they become like a scourge on the world. We just drive around, just fighting with our swords.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'd do it. But it was just like, because, you know, the storytelling and the way of the storytelling. Now, perhaps
pacing was good in that game.
Pacing was very good, and perhaps this might have been symptomatic of its time, but the kind of like disembodied voice telling the story. I don't know what it is.
It had full voice acting, which didn't happen until then.
No,
right?
no.
Which there were games that had full voice acting before that,
but like
not an RPG like that.
And there was kind of a turning point, right? Because people will sit there and fucking kind of talk shit on the voice acting of Final Fantasy X just because of the laughing scene, but you don't understand the laughing scene. Anyways, people will talk shit about it, but it's like had never to that point been like, these motherfuckers sold this shit. Like, I don't care who you are, like, to sit back and hear the narrative as it's, I could put headphones on and just listen to that story happen. I'm dead ass, I could do that. Because there was just something about just like, it put you in this, it's like a weird brain massage. It put you in this zen space of just listening to this story, and it was like, I don't know, it was kind of magical. Like, it was magical, it hit me in a way, and then you get into a battle, right? And the thing that got me first was not necessarily like the start where you first encounter Sin and the Sin spawns.
Yep.
It was when you first hear that battle theme, spit went flying out my mouth. I hope that didn't catch it. But I'm just going to let you know that it happened.
I think it's on there because I saw it.
I guarantee you. That light caught that thing.
I hate it.
Hawk.
I hate it, bro.
Final Fantasy Hawk 2.
When you, I hate that. Come on, bro. Fuck that podcast. I'm casting it now. Fuck the Talk to a podcast. Go fuck yourself. Anyways, that's my view. When you first heard the battle theme, that battle theme is ingrained in my head. There are two RPG battle themes that are literally just my gaming history as a child. Legend of Legaia, Final Fantasy X.
Yep.
Those two battle themes are peak battle themes.
And the way that they kind of, because obviously spoilers for like a 20-year-old game, whatever.
Yeah.
The Sin Spawn attack, you get isekai'd. You spend a lot of the early game in like kind of that slow plotting. You're kind of like in that stupid ruins of Xanarkand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fall into the water, and that fish is like chasing you. But then you're like,
Which is kind of terrifying.
at that point, the main character Titus, how are we saying it? Titus.
I'm just saying. Titus just gets weird for me, I'm gonna be honest.
But when he finally turns and decides to stop like running, and that music kicks on,
Yeah, yep.
and then like they hit like the multiple camera angles and they hit him with that half cut, and he like looks up and like,
Dude, I'm going, bro.
Yeah.
It's right.
he got it.
Yeah.
It was, and like the pacing of that game, I'm playing it now, and just about to get into the second trials to get Ifrit.
Which that was also just the whole summoner story was just
Very good. You got to kill the universe's equivalent of the Pope.
Yeah.
when you defeat Maester Seymour and end his life, that's like you've destroyed this universe's like #1 religious leader.
Yeah, but if the Pope is trying to become the devil,
Yeah.
He was trying to remake the entire world with him as its center,
Let me stop.
which was insane. And it had so much to it because because like the Guado people were like somewhat marginalized. So there was
is that the word we're going with?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So there was so much deep motivation in what he was trying to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. That is the one thing is like story for Final Fantasy games in recent time, I'm just gonna be real, have been nothing short of flash.
Like I think Wakka is probably one of the best characters in Final Fantasy.
And people be getting pissy at Wakka because in hindsight they're like, oh gosh, he's a racist. You play the game.
Yeah.
Play the whole game.
His whole belief system, and like his brother went off to fight Sin and died, and he couldn't move himself to do that.
My gosh, dude. My God. Plus, like, come on, bro. He bagged. Wakka fucks, bro.
That was his brother's fiance. That's a crazy thing.
It's a little crazy. But he did.
They both helped each other move on, which was
Henry VIII too, though.
oh damn.
It's not the same. That's not the same. It was a moving on connection. No, you're right about that. That was a story beat.
It was great, and like because Wakka is that he did a full character growth through the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
He went from like running away because like being a blitzballer was not coping with anything.
Yeah.
He was just like fuck life.
Yeah.
And instead of like
Fuck life, play ball.
Exactly. Instead of doing something crazy like losing himself in the bottle or like,
he lost himself in the ball.
Yeah, getting himself in a fight he can't win.
Oh my God.
He's gonna be a baller. And then he was being half-assed on being a guardian.
Yeah.
It was his whole arc was amazing.
And I think that was the one kind of thing that I could say about Final Fantasy X is that like the character arcs were all very good.
I really liked all the characters.
And you got because obviously it's kind of a trope, in RPGs that everybody gets their little moment. Everyone has like a story beat that they get to you get to play through and watch them do that. But it's like, I feel like the balance of it was incredibly well done in Final Fantasy X. Like, you got a good amount of time with each character. The characters, when they were just in the party, you actually gave a shit about to begin with. Because I think that's another thing, is that current day RPGs have a nasty habit of, like, somebody, if not multiple characters, are just kind of like, why are you here?
Yeah, just a different class.
Yeah, and then it's like, then they want you to like play a whole story arc with them. And it's like, oh man, I don't care about you.
Oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Like, I know you're in the party. Can we keep going? Like, we just gassed up the car, man. I don't need detours.
Especially with, like, you
Spent
start...
my last 20 gil on that. I don't have time to deal with your shit.
Well, I was like, yo, we just fought a boss. I almost died out there. I want to go visit my family. I didn't know you had a family.
Do they suck like you? I don't want... Bro! Yeah, I think that was the cool thing. Like, the Albed were really, like, interesting.
They had a whole fucking language, bro.
Yeah,
like, and like, that's extra mile shit. Come on, bro. That's extra mile shit.
Yeah, they, like, Riku being, like, Yuna's cousin was a really interesting, like...
Yeah, that was interesting. And I never would have thought about that because, like, now obviously I'm using Yuffie as an example of kind of like because Riku's technically a Yuffie, like, but this is in hindsight because obviously I played Final Fantasy VII after. And when you take an archetype that generally, and I'm just gonna be real, can't stand that archetype. I hate Yuffie as a character.
Okay.
Can't stand her. She's annoying. She's like...
So what archetype specifically?
So it's the archetype of somebody who is, I will say, asshole-ish and not like the little scamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that scamp.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, because when you do the scamp archetype wrong, you're just an annoying pain in the ass who keeps picking my pocket. And I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
And that was... they put Yuffie in that game at the... She was like mid-late game.
No, you can get her very early.
Well, when I played through it for the first time,
I gotta admit
you overachieving, you data mining. You realize that motherfucker... No.
So why are you suddenly taking it personal?
Do you want to know how early you can get Yuffie?
Please don't say this one.
Yep, you can get Yuffie before you go to Junin.
Motherfucker, I got Yuffie on disc... I might have been late disc 2.
I remember.
You can get Yuffie well before Sid and Vincent.
So...
What the fuck?
I think...
I think Yuffie for us was after.
Because I had characters that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
At the time, I really liked Vincent.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling that edginess.
Yeah.
I was like,
come on, bro.
red and black. I was like, ugh. I made a mistake. Wearing red and black.
Look at the walls.
Yeah, the world around us is just our fucking teenage years.
Yeah.
Listen, that's all your 30s. Your 20s is you getting back in touch with your childhood stuff, like the stuff that when you were a teenager, you're like, that's all dumb kid shit.
Yeah.
Now you're in your 20s, you're like, I kind of miss that stuff. It made me feel happy.
And then your
30s are like, I was weird. I was weird as a teenager, but I kind of need that weird now because the world sucks.
Embrace your weird people.
And then you die.
Yeah, embrace your weird and then you die. Or we go on some crazy adventure to try to stop something for our 30-something-year-old asses getting killed.
Hey, man. Yeah.
To the monolith!
So, to get back to that point, Riku was just so much better.
Yeah, that's good. I almost lost that fucking point. I'm glad you got that.
Because Yuffie doesn't matter when you find her. When you find her, she's annoying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her whole arc is her stealing all your shit.
Yeah.
Any character, the truth, bro. Listen.
That's bad introduction.
If we're running a TTRPG, and I'm like A, and as you guys are going along, all of a sudden somebody steals your shit. Check your pockets. You lost all your shit.
You're mad.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You know what's gonna happen.
I know what's gonna
That's
happen.
also why I play Sorcerer.
That motherfucker's gonna die.
Yeah.
And
I don't like Yuffie either. I was just telling you can get her much earlier than you thought.
and granted,
Leave her to the wolves.
no, don't.
You
Hojo motherfucker.
No! Damn, I forgot what it was.
A creep does not describe him accurately.
He's also Sephiroth's dad.
Yeah, which
His
again,
flesh and blood genetic fucked dad.
which is insane because
Like he just fucked. It wasn't.
Yeah, he's like stole Vincent's girl.
He didn't. And it was crazy
which
because like,
how the fuck?
he's just laying down game. He's like,
Because I'm saying that, like, Shawty's breakfast is no homo. Because no hojo.
oh, nice.
Because if it's Vincent or Hojo,
He got old. He might have been. He might have had a bad decline.
but we gotta remember
He
because
started injecting himself with stuff too.
Yeah.
He also injected Lucretia as well.
Yeah.
which the thing is though,
Which
nobody,
is how Sephiroth wound up the way he is.
but nobody else has a bad decline. Look at.
Okay, it's not so much that he was laying down pipe. He said, "I want to do a breeding experiment. Are you in as a scientist?"
That's not what he did.
I want to do a breeding experiment.
Just fucking out here with that fucking Las Plagas.
She was like, huh? But Vincent was like, and then locked himself in an actual cough.
Well, remember, Vincent was also experimented on by Hojo.
He's a bad guy. He's a weird.
Hojo is the villain, really, of Final Fantasy VII.
And he's like a hentai villain.
Yeah. Which is
He's a
crazy
Roger villain.
because he also Loki looks like
Oh no.
You know he's got the...
Makai Kishi Ingrid. How you doing?
Just
I live life as a degenerate. You gotta understand. It's not a joke.
You have a Hojo tattoo we need to know about?
It's like a trans fan. Yo, Final Fantasy conversation got away.
It did.
Oh, listen.
If you're going to bring up Hojo, remember, Hojo wanted to breed Aerith and Red 13.
Hojo makes it weird. Hojo is a hentai villain. That's crazy.
Hojo is
next. You know what? New episodes of Hojo's a hentai
villain.
Prove me wrong. In the comments.
So I looked at your camera. That's gonna suck.
Hey,
you're dumb. You're just not right.
Oh my gosh!
You're too busy thinking about.
No. Oh my gosh.
Oh yo.
Anyways. So obviously, setting is amazing. Story is amazing. You know, because I'm not going to sit here. Obviously, I don't want to sit here and be like, "Here's my review." But you know, because you also the battle system, switching your characters mid fight. You know what I mean?
You can even change your equipment.
You got it. That's what I'm
You
saying.
can switch your weapon.
Like crazy, dude. Because I think this was kind of because the whole active time battle system thing was kind of like it was becoming the thing, you know what I mean? Especially for Final Fantasy, wish it was still a thing. Just gonna say that.
Because you can.
And then it died.
Doesn't need to be a Devil May Cry ripoff. Let's just be real.
Oh my, yeah.
And you did it worse with less likable characters.
16?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, bro. You tried to carry the entire game on one mid-main character. Horrible. You don't even have a party.
I can't remember.
You got a dog, bro.
I can't remember Homeboy's
Spoilers.
face.
Oh, no.
Yes.
The only good main character? No.
I can't remember Homeboy's face.
Clive. You can play as him in Tekken.
My son's named Clive?
Yeah.
And he's a prince.
That's another thing.
I'm Prince Clive.
100% this guy in any other storyline is a nobody.
Is a nobody.
He's incompetent and he really likes frosted cakes. That is Prince Clive.
Yeah.
And you want to know what you do? You throw him in the sewer, or you save him from the sewer,
Yeah.
or you like you do some stupid thing where you put a frosted cake on a stick.
Yeah.
And it's an escort mission to make sure he doesn't run into a fucking spiked wall.
Ooh.
You're like, I refuse to leave this dungeon until I'm saved by my knight. And then you're just like, just leading them through the whole shit. No! I fucking refuse. I reject.
Listen, honorable mention to the Prince from Kingdom Come Deliverance too. He's a badass. Because he fights you in the game. He's the tutorial. Like, fuck, that's pretty sweet.
I'll beat that
He be
ass.
talking shit too. He's got that type of voice. But he be talking shit to you. He's like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm like, you fucking asshole. And I'm lost. Anyways, most I was furious. Because I'm like, this is the time where the knight proves that he's better, and I got my ass kicked.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we should have played Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. Anyways. No, the battle system was amazing. Like, the visual of it, too, because obviously it was next generation at the time, so it's like the camera panning, multiple different angles, you know what I mean? It felt cinematic without, like, sitting through a cutscene, you know what I mean?
Like one-off mechanics in certain battles.
Yeah.
Where you can move the platform closer or farther away.
That's what I mean, bro.
Like the one or two times during the game where in the middle of a fight you can switch over to the side menu and then talk.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't give a shit as long as they made it cool.
That one little free action thing where it's just like talk. They're gonna go after each other like
you don't gotta do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and and on top of that, it's like it was content rich in the way that there was just not only was it just like, oh, you could find a certain type of weapon. It's like they had fucking menus for some shit. You could go in and do fucking battles against those special types of enemies. You remember that shit?
Yep.
And each time you got rarer and rarer shit for finishing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The sphere grid was.
Yeah, sphere grid.
I love the sphere grid.
You know what I mean? It's like there was just, and the thing is, the sphere grid was so ahead of its time that there are games now using shit like the sphere grid. You know what I mean? I was playing, what the fuck was I playing? I'm trying to think. It wasn't RPG. I wish I could remember. Can't remember it off the top of my head. But it's literally sphere grid.
Yep.
It's literally sphere grid. I'll edit and post. Don't you worry. Everybody listening, sorry. But I'll edit and post.
And then building a blitzball team.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So that's the other thing. Can we just say it here? Because Final Fantasy, more or less, after 8, always had like a side thing. That was the best side thing. Blitzball was the best side thing.
Final Fantasy 7 had some sick side stuff. They had like race cars.
Racing chocobos.
Yep.
Racing Chocobos was alright.
They had.
People. Alright, so the thing I didn't like about Racing Chocobos, or really racing anything at the time, because there was quite a few games that started doing that shit, where it's like bet on this thing, and it was like RNG based. Is horrible.
No,
it was horrible.
Do it yourself. Raising your racing chocobo.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, that's what I mean, because it was kind of, what it reminded me of, kind of, it was Legend of Zelda a little bit with the dog racing. Wasn't a fan of that. It was just like there it is. It's like it almost felt like Now, granted, it wouldn't have been a fantastic game. You could have just took Blitzball out and you could have just packaged it and sold it as a $20 game. Blitzball, the game, race to the ranks. You know what I mean? It's like
Final boss is Tidus and Waka.
That's what I was. Ooh, do it now. Square Enix.
Yo, that'd be sick. And then give him like some sick ass Besaid Oryx.
Yeah.
Like they're not adventurers anymore. They're just fucking the dummiest ballers on the fucking planet.
Do it now.
Yeah, but that can't happen because spoilers.
Well,
I'm not willing to accept those spoilers. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So this is the thing that I will say about that too, is that the extended lore of Final Fantasy X, like I feel like to some extent, Square Enix also understood how special that game was. Because, now granted, the extended lore, I'm not going to get into that, because all that's ass. I'm just going to be real.
Not all of it, chill.
Well, a good chunk. They fucking had, so, I guess spoilers maybe. They had additional stories that essentially broke Tidus and Yuna up to pair them off with some fucking randos.
Chill.
And the thing is that they were low-key trying to say that was going to be a Final Fantasy X-3 setup, and I'm like, the fuck out of here. You
chill.
Yeah. Anyways. Supposed to be talking about 10 out of 10s here, and I'm like, fucking But no.
So it's not 10 out of 10.
But because I'm glad it's not DLC, because that almost fell into my rule.
Almost just dropped it. But yeah, I think that if there's ever a game out of my list, and now your list, that's a 10 out of 10.
Crazy. Ending made me cry.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Ending made me cry. And then the thing is, I was watching videos about the ending making everybody who plays it cry. Yeah. I'm like, it hits today. I'm just saying, it hits today.
And then, as I guess because you stole my thunder and I had to follow you up, I'm just going to briefly mention what I would also consider a 10 out of 10 game, and the only other one in my list that I would ever consider was a 10 out of 10 game objectively was Half-Life 2. Just same reason. Great gameplay, amazing graphics.
Yeah.
The lore is amazing.
The episode games are separate.
The episode games they get deep.
That's how you salvage your 10 out of 10 though, is just keep it separate.
Yeah,
Own
fair.
experience. Own experience.
And Valve, come on, dude. You guys have the money.
Y'all
They can't count to 3.
Yeah, they really can't.
Yeah,
We're waiting on Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah, because they did Back for Blood.
Yeah.
That wasn't Valve.
Yeah,
that was BlackRock Studio.
That's the thing is, Valve don't make games no more, which I'm.
They just make handhelds. They just make handhelds.
Yeah. Them all.
They just make fire-ass handhelds.
Yeah, I can't be mad.
And then best gaming service / marketplace
out
in human creation.
Yeah, period. It's the best. It is.
I think the only thing... no, there's nothing that's even close.
Yeah, I mean, as a service, you could argue Game Pass, but it doesn't have the sheer amount of games and consistent deals.
Yep.
Just make fucking Half-Life 3. And then we'll all love you again. So I guess now we have to get, we gotta get the Chronos 10 out of 10. Personal 10 out of 10.
Okay, I have 3.
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
10 out of 10s. So this will make up for our synergistic 10 out of 10.
So, as I mentioned, I actually restructured my list a little bit, thinking about some stuff again. Knights of the Old Republic 1 actually wormed its way back into the 10th spot.
Okay, interesting.
I actually gave Jade Empire the boot, because I recently replayed both of them.
Whoa.
You got to give me some of your dedication, bro. I suck at getting
Both of those games are like 20 hours. I can beat them in a day.
Well, I could beat a 20-hour game in a day too if I wasn't dyslexic.
There's voice acting!
No, I'm kidding. I don't know why I can't dedicate to
The first time I get to play in PASIC.
You're gone?
Yep. Thanks for coming out, guys.
I have made 300 million credits on 50 credit bets. My game timer has stopped working.
It's fucked up.
And it kind of happens because that's why it's taken me so long to get through that fucking trial to get it free in Final Fantasy X. Is because I'm hitting square to talk to everybody to see what they're.
If you can get some fire blitzball players.
Yeah. Stupid.
Like a recruit, you know what?
Stupid.
Would you like to play some blitzball?
I know your village got destroyed. Would you like to play some blitzball?
You'll be able to make enough money to rebuild it.
Yeah.
You survived.
Can't
so you
rebuild
got some
families, but
constitution.
You can take some hits. Back to what you were saying.
So I just kind of like changed the list. Most of the rest of that is because I wanted to put Dragon Age Inquisition in there. So that got number 5. So basically the list now is Knights of the Old Republic at number 10, Fire Emblem Awakening still at 9,
still hanging in there. That's good. That's good.
Cassette Beasts at 8.
I just got that game.
Think about the experiences.
It's a great game.
It is really cool.
Wild Arms Alter Code F over the series. I changed that up because I thought about that more. At number 7, Chrono Cross at number 6, Dragon Age Inquisition at number 5. Number 4, my first 10 out of 10 on my list, Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I've never played it, so I can't.
They took it off of PlayStation Premium.
That's because Sony pissed off Square.
That's because Sony needs to get their head out of their asshole.
It's going to be a highly censored edit.
The anal cranialectomy.
Cranialectomy, exactly.
Anal crane.
But, because you're just talking about, like, and I would consider that a modern game. That's within the past 10 years.
Yeah, I would say that counts. You know, like I said, I'm not going to say anything against it. I'm not going to try to disprove this because I haven't played it. I don't know.
Having not played it at all,
Yeah,
I have some opinions.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to argue against
The
it.
thing is just like, even just starting the game, right? We've talked about, like, fire opening missions, right? You're just a nobody villager at this little podunk mountain village, and you've been raised a certain way your whole life. Not racist or anything like that. I know small towns can get weird. But,
Yes.
Ask anyone from Besaid.
but you're basically,
Yeah, I'm dead.
you've been taught your whole life that you are the chosen one of the divine dragon. And you are. However, when you leave the comfort of your village because you're summoned to the king's castle in the first city, he has you arrested.
I
And we've talked about this, and he's going to put you to death.
that's a good start, though. To be fair, that's a very good start.
He's convinced the world that you're not the herald of the divine dragon, you're the herald of death. You're the end of the world, not the savior.
Like they're lying with that friggin' long silver hair. They're lying.
You want to know
I'm
what?
not the luminaries. Why is your hair glowing? Phosphorus.
Phosphorus.
Witch!
Shit.
Phosphor witch.
I forgot that we were in the fucking Dark Ages.
But you get to, like, every character in the game has a purpose. All 8 of them are really good, really well written. They all get unique shit they can do.
You want to know something that, like, I don't know what cane that they put, censor that, into the
What's wrong
graphics.
with you guys?
But listen,
Hey, I didn't say it!
that silky smooth frame rate that never drops.
Even on the Switch, you can be doing the most intense attacks in the game. Nothing.
The graphics are so perfect, and, like, I can't remember seeing anything that clipped weird.
No.
Or, like,
Even when so that's the thing, right? Echoes of an Elusive Age added in extra stuff, and I know you're talking about DLC.
Yeah.
However, it was included for free.
Yes, but was it a 10 out of 10 included for free?
Yes.
Okay.
You get a whole extra storyline that takes you to 2D dungeons. It allowed you to play the entire game in 2D. So if you wanted
You can
that old
switch.
yes.
You can Switch.
Yeah. But it's such a good game. Like,
It like massages the brain just
Yes.
looking at the game.
Yeah.
And
Which,
the soundtrack.
yeah, and the synergy between characters, right? Like,
so I think that is doesn't disprove my theory, not necessarily. I think it proves that if you do it right, it can still be a 10 out of 10.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because, like, even when the game first came out, only on PlayStation 4, by the way.
Which, crazy. That's crazy, because now it's on every...
Yeah, well, they gave PlayStation 4 people that bought it, they got the free upgrade. And then everybody else got Echoes of an Elusive Age.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a super boss in the game that's timed, and it is a pain in the ass, but I fucking beat it. Fucking took like 6 tries.
Crazy.
99th level characters with 999 in each stack.
Nice.
What the hell? You grinded for a year?
So when my wife got me that game for my birthday, it was about the only thing I did for 2 months straight. If I was not eating, sleeping, or working, I was playing Dragon Quest XI. And I was putting in 16 plus hour days again.
I wish I could do that again.
And when a game can do that to me, I'm like, this is something special.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And I think that's the thing. If you could just say fuck responsibility momentarily, it does say a lot about a game. It really does.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it's so...
It is.
So
I really think you should
viscerally
play it
good.
because we're talking about the scamp character, right? Eric, the second character you get in the game, is that archetype. But he is your most loyal fucking companion. He busts you out of prison.
He's such a bro.
He is.
Yo, that's actually what...
And he's kind of like all in, just like, without you having to really prove yourself.
Right. He's like, on jump, let's go, bro.
Yeah, he's down for fucking anything.
So I think that is the way to do a scam character well, though. Because I think we can kind of agree that the thing that makes certain character archetypes annoying is the, like, but no. It's like,
Yeah.
like, motherfucker, you're a character in this game. You're a part of the party at some point. I don't want to have to sit here and talk to you for 3 long encounters and fight you 10 times to get you on my fucking team. It's like, that type of archetype is annoying in my
It
opinion.
can be, for sure.
Like, I don't want to be part of your group.
Then shut up and leave me alone.
But I need you for this part.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. For some reason, you're the only one that can pick locks.
Yeah, and
even though I have a gun and could just shoot it.
You know what's even potentially more frustrating is the fact that archetype or similar archetypes are always one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah.
They always they're like
Some little banger skill.
yeah, and it's like it's mad fucking annoying because I want that skill. I don't want to have to deal with
So
you.
Eric really is one of the best characters in the game. He's a single hit DPS monster, or if you get him dual wielding with the boomerangs, he can clear groups like nothing.
So if that's subvert trope or trope subversion. Subvert trope.
Subvert the group.
Like, that's just it, right? The game features heroic sacrifices. I'm not going to spoil them because they are really good.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
Damn.
speaking about scenes that make you cry, like,
Yeah, okay, all right.
Each of the characters can use different weapons.
yeah.
So even though, like, you have, it's 10 characters?
8.
Eight characters.
So there's Hero, Eric, Veronica, Serena, Jade, the old guy.
Is Jade the one in the green?
Yes.
Nice.
8. Am I forgetting anybody? Yes, Silvando.
Silvando's a cool name. That's a really cool
He's
name.
a cool
Yeah,
character.
so
Like, once you get his story, dude, like, what he wanted to do is so fucking cool.
Oh shit! Yeah, I really gotta. I'm just hitting this thing left, right, and
You can get it on Steam, too, so
You know what? It's gonna be kind of crazy. I think I'm probably gonna play it on the Switch too.
it's fine. Because, like, that's the other thing. Like, the game, each act is a video game.
That and that is crazy because like I think part of being a 10 out of 10 should really be the bang for the buck situation. Like I should not have to get an upgrade to enjoy this to its fullest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just content for days, you know what I mean? And any additional content is worthwhile content, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's the one thing I will say is that it seems like the Dragon Quest series, just in general, has never disappointed for, like, content and shit you can
It feels like it accelerates with every release.
It's the RPG version of Tekken. Because there's one guy who has the guiding vision, right? So just like how Harada is that force behind Tekken, Yuji Horii may work for Square Enix, but Dragon Quest is his series.
Yeah, I like that. That's a flex, man.
Yep.
like you heard my boss? I'm the boss.
Well, that's the thing, right? Back when it was Squaresoft and Enix, name me an Enix game outside of the Dragon Quest series. They probably exist. I don't know of one.
Yeah, I don't know one either. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to.
Right, like if there's a list, I really want to know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because Enix has always produced fire games.
Yes.
Because maybe we then need to go back and play
The Enix rundown.
And like, yeah, I feel like as a series, the foot's always on the gas with that.
Yeah.
Like, it gets better and better every single release. And like, you know, we had kind of a crash out on like Zelda, its modern soundtrack, and like you're just alone by yourself. But that game really, it encapsulated the feeling of being an adventuring party.
Yes, it really does.
It was very, like, it really made you feel like you were playing a, like, late 90s, early 2000s, like, adventure anime.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I love that.
just to give you a little taste, the bad guy wins at one point.
At one point, wild thing to say. Wild thing to
I'm
say.
not going to spoil it there, but
no. But that is crazy because, like, that means at some point there was like an end game situation that in any other game would be like, you wait for the sequel and we'll finish that up. And it's like, no, Dragon Quest XI was like, there's more.
And then,
like, don't turn it off yet, there's more.
And then you finish that, and there's more.
Really top notch.
No, good on them. You said that's the first 10 out of 10.
Yep.
So, you want to talk about another one?
Sure. So number 3 on my list is still the Mass Effect Legendary Edition because I think as a whole package, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I'd say probably Mass Effect 2 on its own is a 10 out of 10.
I'd be willing to argue that.
But I have to weigh the entire series, and let's be honest, Mass Effect 1's gameplay is not a 10 out of 10 gameplay game.
Nope.
But they really tuned it up for Legendary.
did.
They completely...
However, why did we not put the unique class powers in it? We've had a lot of time since the original game came out. Why can I not charge things in Mass Effect 1?
Also,
I'm a Vanguard. I want to charge.
fair. Also,
I'm a one-trick pony, charging shotgun. That's it. That's all I want to do. And maybe hit somebody with my elbow.
He's a Gears of War character.
Yeah, Vanguard Shepard would fit in so well in Gears of War. They'd be like, you got sweet mind powers? Let's fucking go. He's like, I'm going to charge that fucking locust asshole up there. Why? Because I can. Gone. They're like, we're going to charge on foot. Biotics, gone.
So I think it's also worth saying that I don't think retcons and redos should be considered for a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like to judge Mass Effect 1 on the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, Mass Effect 1 is technically not right to do. I don't think so.
I don't disagree, but
Fair play.
I would say even with the upgraded gameplay, it's still not a 10.
Yeah, that also true. Also true in its own right.
Like, I think I would say the original Mass Effect is probably a solid 7.
Yeah, I would
Good
say so.
game.
Yeah. Like, the story obviously does a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Like, characterization does a lot of heavy lifting. World building does a lot of heavy lifting. You know what I mean? But there are some games that are like that.
Yeah.
And that's okay, honestly. Like if you play a Telltale game, you're not playing it for the gameplay, but the story is usually good enough.
Pretty good, yeah.
You know what I mean? That you want to get through it. So that's fair. That's fair. What's number 2?
Number 2 was Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. And
Which I will absolutely argue is a 10 out of 10 game.
Okay. I kind of figured that was somewhere in there, so that is fair. That is fair. Also, kudos to the studio, because you gotta give flowers to the studio.
I'm going to argue.
Okay.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
You want to know what? Maybe a futile argument.
Please don't die on a stupid hill.
It might be a good hill. Who knows?
Let's see,
We're about to
let's
figure
see.
it out.
Okay.
My argument against it being a 10 out of 10 game, which is, it may seem petty at this point, right? Because all we've been doing is like really hyping and being together in some really good hype moments tonight. But I have to add a little bit of bitterness to it because three things.
Okay.
One, that gameplay does not hit everybody.
Okay.
You could honestly want to get into Baldur's Gate 3. I am one of those people. Big fucking fan of rolling clickety clackety dice, math rocks, and pretend to be a wizard. Huge fan.
Yeah.
Could not make myself want that in that form. I don't know why.
Okay.
It might be a me problem.
I'm not
I
gonna. That's
think-
kind of fair. I found myself in the same scenario. I don't hate it by any means, but I feel
Because video gaming, the formula of Dungeons and Dragons is weird. Because you can perception check again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and it turns into very video gamey. Like it turns weirdly video gamey. Because like I've been completely legitimately emulating Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which is an action RPG, and it has some D&D in it.
Yeah.
Feels good, man.
I've played Dark Alliance 1 and 2.
Word.
Still own 2.
Yeah, we on that. I'm not on that gameplay for
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3.
So put it on story difficulty and just go have fun.
Don't try that with me. Don't try that with your fucking bait.
Wait, I have a question now. That actually brings up an interesting question of mine. Is should something still be considered a 10 out of 10 for giving you the option to experience it a different way? Would that be argued that you're not experiencing it the way that it should be or the way that it was?
Nope.
So
It adds to it.
we talked about inclusivity is good, right?
100%.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That lets more people experience something that they may not be able to. Like, the Xbox Adaptive Controller is good for gaming, right? It gets
Yes.
more people in.
Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. Weirdly enough, I know I was the one who said it. I have a counter argument.
You just interrupted my count.
So hold on. Listen, we'll get back to it. I know, just give me a second. Modern controls in Street Fighter 6 sucks.
Oh, they're bad.
Okay.
They're bad.
You know what I mean? And it does make it more inclusive by letting somebody who can't really grasp how to play Street Fighter, it allows them to play Street Fighter and have fun and make it look cool. But that is a fucking curse on modern fighting games, is modern controls. I can't stand them.
So I would say that's a specific problem with that genre, though.
True.
Not gaming as a whole. Because fighting games, I think they should do... There should be a competitive and a casual mode. And that should be it.
I'm 100% for casual controls. Not me personally.
Yeah, just...
But,
Right,
you
but
know,
like,
if-
literally you boot the game up and they're like, what's your experience with fighting games? And you're like, I just want to beat the shit out of some NPCs and play a story.
Fair.
Fine.
Or if you get kids with zero motor skills and
They want to
piss poor timing.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Go ahead and continue your
I just
counter.
elbowed my drink, almost knocked it over.
As a lid.
No, I kind of like it. I kind of had this anticipation of coming in here with a little bit of spiciness, and I like the fact that you guys got some good counters to this.
The second thing. It's all memes.
I disagree.
I think it is.
Choose the bear in a unique way in that one.
All the things that r/D&D memes is about, they have in Baldur's Gate 3.
Uh-huh.
And you want to know what? I see that.
But we gotta argue execution on that one. I don't feel like that's necessarily fair to say.
I don't think they took any chances executing it.
Okay, all right then.
Chances in terms of what?
It's just too a la carte.
Yeah.
It's just too.
It is.
Look at the meme.
Yeah, it's like
wink at the
legitimate.
camera.
Yeah.
I would wink at the camera, but I can't wink right. So I refuse. I refuse to hard blink at this camera.
I mean, pick your battles.
I can wink with both eyes.
Good for you. I think that might be
It's called a
exclusive.
blink.
I thought you meant like one and then
I
the other.
can.
Oh, well, I can't do that. I don't have that type of mode. So. Anyways.
The third, and possibly the most important thing, I like none of the characters.
That's a you problem.
None of them? None of them? First of all, you leave my girl alone. You leave Shadowheart alone.
I liked Shadowheart the least.
Whoa. You know who I like the least? That fucking Gethraki or whatever.
Githyanki?
Yeah, yeah.
I liked.
Yeah, hater.
I liked her. If I was to rank characters, Lae'zel, thank you.
I like the one dude, the one mage dude.
Gale?
Yep, I like Gale.
I don't.
I thought he was good.
Gale's like toast.
Gale's a little toasty.
He's just plain toast.
Well, like
He actually, yeah. So Lae'zel, Gale.
He lacks some pretentiousness.
Yeah.
I love Shadowheart, but she's a little crazy sometimes.
Astarion is second worst, and Shadowheart is worst.
No, fuck that. Nope, I will not let you do that to her.
Because Astarion at least pops off. When he starts to get indignant, he starts to complain about things. It's actually fun to listen to.
Okay. Astarion, so I think Astarion is the sum of my problem with D&D communities in general.
Let's be very honest. I think every character in that game is the reason why I don't like the community. The community?
Okay, interesting.
I might lose some cred.
I'm going to throw this in there, right? And this is at the risk of sounding like a complete asshole, but I'm going to throw this in there. If you were to take it and zoom it out and say that game was a campaign, there are players that would be problematic.
I would. Yeah. Okay. So that, I think that's point for me. Is how many of those players would you kick from your table? GM's GM, my dude.
So Shadowheart's player would be fine. Karlach's player would be fine. You're gonna kick Karlach's player out?
Lae'zel's gone. I like Lae'zel, but Lae'zel's player's gone. The type of player to grind a whole fucking session to a halt.
Oh,
Shadowheart, I wouldn't be able to deal with the constant. That's main character syndrome, my dude.
Oh, yikes.
Astarion, come on. R/RPG horror stories. The dude, he's dubious. Let's just say he's dubious.
Trying to get everybody something.
Yeah, trying to get everybody's something. Dubious.
Okay.
Is the word.
Damn.
actually just basic, very basic.
Yeah.
Fine as a player. Gale probably be one of my best boys.
That's what I feel like. That's why I like
See,
it.
I'm kicking Gale's player.
Hey, what?
Why?
Because Gale is...
Gale makes no waves. Gale makes no waves.
He absolutely makes waves.
The only way is in his
You can fucking tell him, I am not interested in you. And he will still try and fuck you.
Ooh,
Also,
Scooby Doobious.
you're his sloppy seconds.
The only thing is, Asterian's kind of similar.
He's Scrappy Dubious.
He's scrappy.
I didn't say I wasn't.
Okay. That's fine. All right, that's fair. Yeah, so I will agree.
Shadow Heart's player might stick around, but I'm talking shit after every second.
But that's the thing. Have you played these character arcs to their conclusion?
Not to their conclusion.
Because if we are talking about, you like Waka, right? But if you judged Waka on the base of his starter character arc,
Ooh, yeah.
and he was a player in your campaign, would he stick around?
Oh.
Because the thing is nothing Astarion does necessarily in the game is dubious enough that I would kick his player. I would tell the players to be...
Doesn't
wary of
Astarion
him.
got a weird ma, too?
What do you mean weird ma? Like his mother?
Yeah.
No.
You're not
No, maybe I'm thinking of a different character. Never mind.
So
I thought he had a weird ma.
interesting. So I will say this.
But I'm not
It's been a good kind of little session.
but I'm not here to stop
I
your
can
flow,
give you
but keep
the
it rolling.
gameplay isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say you can't judge the characters until you've completed their story arc.
That is
100%
That's a fair argument.
Because I haven't technically beaten Final Fantasy X. I know what happens in the game, and I like most of the cast.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's a fair argument. I can't really say anything against that. So, So the thing is,
Yeah. I totally just gotten standing in your cornflakes.
yeah, because
Okay.
now there's a number one spot that is also a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah. So Final Fantasy,
Oh my
Final Fantasy,
gosh.
swinging at the 10s, boy.
So
Let's go.
I would say anything 12 and before, you could make an argument. I would say anything 4 to 12. There's an argument to be made that any of them could be 10 out of 10.
Yep. That is,
Final Fantasy 1 is that I think it's a solid 7 out of 10 game. It's not a bad game. It's not an above average game. It's
There's
a
not
good game.
anything going on.
right. About as
It's
revolutionary as
literally-
it could be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was a D&D campaign.
Yeah.
That's what the original Final Fantasy is, with some fancy names for the classes.
The safest D&D campaign too. It was like ain't no edginess to it.
Yeah,
That was
everybody's like down for everything.
just
You know,
polished.
you're just like pros, a bunch of pros.
yeah.
Save the princess.
Yeah, it's like Save the Princess. I will,
I will.
and we will, and we're not going to do anything else after we've saved. It.
That's it.
Yeah, like
That is fair.
so like there were other games that you move around, random encounter, and then you fight. I think Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 were very smooth.
Yeah.
I think that's what made that. But you're right. From 4 on,
So I will say there is something to the story in 2. Like, it's not a complicated story, but it's more than bad guy is a time-traveling asshole.
right.
Yeah.
Which is Final Fantasy 1. At least there's it's just Star Wars, but at least it follows the basic plot.
No, you're right. That's hilarious. No,
You're the Resistance fighting the Empire. The final boss is the Emperor.
Yeah, that's
Darth Vader just doesn't die. He joins your party.
Which, hey, that's better. That's better. Because the thing is, Darth Vader's cool as fuck in the Star Wars series.
So the problem is that in the original Final Fantasy II, well, in any iteration of it, your other 3 characters you've been leveling up the entire time. And here's the fun thing about Final Fantasy II: it didn't have a traditional leveling system.
yeah,
You leveled up your skills by using that.
I
So you can
forgot
go in a
about that.
random battle and just have your characters beat the crap out of each other and cast spells on each other and stuff. You just put the enemy team to sleep and just beat the crap out of yourselves. and then you get guest characters through the entire game until you finally get your fourth party member again, who is so far behind everyone else.
But then you just let him go to town on any of your characters.
It's total. The boss joined the team and is worse syndrome.
That's hilarious.
And I hate that in game.
Oh, it's a slap in the face.
Yeah, or when you unlock the boss character in a fighting game. I know you've been kicking my ass this entire time.
Why do your combos suck?
But hey, that's like, motherfucker, I can't breathe when I fight against you.
And now I'm using you and...
So, like, one thing about Final Fantasy IX, it was, I think, the saddest of all the Final Fantasy games.
Final Fantasy IX, yeah, that's
and it wasn't like apocalyptic sad, but I think every character was so deep in such a really dark spot.
Yeah.
Mentally, it was yeah.
That's a fair argument.
Everyone was hurt.
Yeah, because there's genocide, there's racism, there's
Yeah.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, they kind of went in a little bit.
there's equivalent to nuclear bombs being detonated on cities. A whole civilization gets wiped out.
Yep.
Yo, Square was trying to say something.
There's
That's not-
so like with Vivi, they had like this kind of like, am I real?
Yeah.
Is anything real?
That's
It's like,
essentialism.
like,
Oh my
whoa,
God.
dude, chill.
You know what's funny? Zidane mirrors that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so maybe Final Fantasy. Interesting. Final Fantasy.
No, it hits really hard.
So there was a point, right? And that's kind of sad thinking about current day Final Fantasy, because there was a point, like you said, there could be an argument being made that from 4 to 12, and the only detractor from 12 is going to be real Vaughn. That's it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think Vaughn is enough of a detractor. I think I could rate Final Fantasy 12 a 10 out of 10 if I really sat down and looked at it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of games that aren't on my top 10 that I would probably still consider 10 out of 10s, but I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing, is that there was a point where people were, and developers specifically, were swinging from the fences.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of indicative of why you got quality. Nowadays, I hate to go back to my little argument earlier, but nowadays, I think that's the problem, is that developers are too okay. Not necessarily the developers themselves, I will say, usually publishers and investors.
Yeah,
are trying to.
It's shareholders.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're too okay with releasing a product that ought not to be on the shelves.
Like,
Cyberpunk.
And then fix it afterwards. However, I'm definitely playing Cyberpunk on the Switch too. Just so people know.
I think Cyberpunk is a great game now. When it came out, it was not.
Yeah.
And I played the launch version.
So Cyberpunk, I think that's a separate argument,
Interesting.
right? Because it was
Redemption arcs?
huh?
Redemption arcs?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That's a big redemption arc.
But like,
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is kind of a, yeah, you're right. It kind of fits into that.
so those games came out with a good concept,
Poor execution.
poor execution, and they weren't ready to see the world.
Yeah.
What I think the issue is,
Star Citizen, we're still waiting. Granted, I never invested in you, so you can fuck off, you thieving bastard.
Insane.
I think that the issue was coming from like the safe bet is everything after a certain point was mechanically mostly sound,
Yeah.
but it was just very roll safe. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
It is very hard, I think, these days to take risks. I've been reading a lot of articles and stuff about like this, right? Like, Balatro was wildfire.
Yeah.
Pauses humanity for a little bit. Certain games, Pokemon Go did that.
Yeah.
Paused humanity for a hot minute.
But Balatro is so fucking good because you can get it on your phone, you can get it on any console. It's like
Somebody was very much
That was a plan. That
Right,
was
like,
sinister.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? But like, investors are like, they're trying to chase that, right? But how do you know that a poker roguelite
Yeah, that's right.
is gonna
That is true.
set the world on fucking
Because
fire?
somebody was pitching that, and they're just like,
Somebody was just like, with the bat, just...
yeah, you had that
That's
one
the
over
thing,
way in
though,
the back.
I super respect, I think, what is it, Local Thunk?
I think so. Yes.
That dev, he still's anonymous. Nobody knows who he is except his publisher, but they're like, he doesn't want his information released. And he was like, he took time off from working on the game, and he was like, I got bored, so I'm back working on the game. But he paid off his debt, and he bought a house for him and his wife, and he's just like,
Very
G,
sick.
what a G.
and he just wants anonymity. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can respect that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is something to be said, that like 10 out of 10 happens when you have people who have passion and the idea and the
Yeah.
vision. You know what I mean? And it can't be stunted by, it's not safe. I don't want to invest in something that's not safe, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and it's sad, and I think that is, and maybe, interesting that this entire conversation has been to disprove my earlier theory. But now, here's the thing.
With your bitch ass.
On the video, I'm backtracking because maybe we found the real true reason why there's not really such a thing as a modern day 10 out of 10 is because developers, the people who, the big ideas, the brains behind it, they're not allowed to just run free anymore. You know what I mean? There are some that take it and they say, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kudos to them. Shout out to all of you.
Sandfall Interactive.
Oh my gosh. Kudos.
We'll
Anyways.
see you probably on this list.
I think that maybe that's the reason why. Is like if we let people, do their ideas and do it as they want to and fucking try something out there. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's not going to be EA's not going to make it 10 out of 10.
Nope.
Ubisoft isn't going to make it.
Yeah.
10
They're
out of 10.
incapable completely.
Activision's not. Bethesda's not.
Yeah.
Because they've got so much. They got so
Publicly
much.
traded companies are the death of creativity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn. We cooking.
Yeah.
Talking to you, tech bros.
Yeah. I love that so much. I love that. But yeah, so
Fucking assholes.
and I think that's why 10 out of 10. I think we can agree. It's kind of, you look backwards a lot when it comes to a 10 out of 10 video game. You know what I mean? And like movies, anything that's like you said, publicly traded, anything that has now ballooned to such a level that
Right.
it's like.
It's budget is a huge problem, right? Like,
Oh my gosh. If
why, when you look at it, I think the budget for Spider-Man 2 was like $200 million in development,
Yeah.
$160 million in marketing.
Which is,
How is that game
Same.
supposed to recover?
yeah, that is true. That's a tough one.
At $70, it's an 8-hour game. You're telling me every hour of that game is peak fucking
Yeah,
storytelling, writing, everything?
Yeah.
which I can tell you.
Well, that's the thing. Right?
absolutely not.
Yeah, well,
I
especially
don't-
not a superhero game.
I don't necessarily like padding in a game, but like if a game has a longer story, the lulls don't necessarily hit you as hard if you have a lot of highs.
That is true. Oh, interesting.
And if
Ooh.
if you have a shorter game, its flaws stand out more, right? Like
Because it's rapid fire thrown shit.
somebody went doo-doo in a fan and it was diarrhea all over your face.
Yep.
Yo!
But no, we totally padded it out. We put collectibles on an overly large map where you're all by yourself.
Hey, look at this. I found an artifact that I can slowly rotate around and zoom in on slightly.
Or
And
you,
my master sword's out of charge.
Yeah.
yep. I've gone through a whole great big thing and surprise, I'm a fucking Korok. And with that, we have reached the end. We are Critical Hit, and that was our 10 out of 10 from our top 10s. Not yours.
Not mine. Mine was brand new.
You're a dirty thief.
Kick the door down. I was like, hey, this was just cut in line.
Let's call it that.
Find us wherever you find your really constructively argumentative.
That's crazy. I wasn't expecting that, but I mean, listen, you changed my opinion on some things.
You find us on YouTube at CritTube. Like, comment, and subscribe, and engage. We will respond to that shit. I stand on that.
Yes, and to make our outro longer, thank you everybody who have been viewing. Thank you to our first commenters.
Yep.
But I will flash you up on screen as I don't remember the name correctly. Thank you very much. You know, it means a lot to see the engagement go up.
Yes.
See the views go up. It means a ton. So.
Until next time.
1,000.
Thousands. Plural.